First of all, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. Yeah, just got off stage. So it's kind of I'm still buzzing off it slightly.
How many hours was it ago that you were on stage?
That was about half an hour ago, I think. Yeah, I was just before the guys that we can hear now. Yeah, it was good. It was really nice to see so many people there. It's yeah, heartwarming and kind of.
Do you have a lot of hardcore fans in Holland?
Apparently so. I didn't realise, but I mean, I've done a headline show in Amsterdam, and that was great. But yeah, there's people singing along and everything. So hopefully, it's people are hearing the music, which is amazing.
And do they sing along with all the lyrics and shit?
Yeah, so, some of them. You know, I think. You know, I have an album coming out. It's not there yet. It's not out. So I think for me at the moment, I'm introducing myself to people and many people for the first time. So it's that thing where people are bringing their friends along now, and a few people know about me, and they're trying to spread the word. So yeah, it's great doing something like that. So,
you already mentioned the new album. It's your first whole album.
Yeah.
Was it a dream for you to make an album instead of all the EPs you did before?
To be honest, I think I've always sort of just enjoyed writing. I wanted to experiment with the EPs. I felt I needed that time to kind of discover. I call it a palette of sounds, just what I want, the layers I wanted. And I went really far in one direction, and then I went really far in another direction, and then I came to this conclusion that I just needed to be organic and stay quite true to what you hear when you're writing, to the things that you have, the live things, the organic things. I didn't want it to be too processed. So it was the dream to make an album, but I'm glad I had the EPs to sort of learn how I want it to sound. So,
you said it had to be organic. Was there a moment when you realized I'm going too far out that way or the other way?
I think so. I think I was in the studio recording one of the EPs. I can't remember which. I think it was the third one, and there was a bit of processed drum things happening, and I thought, get back to just playing the guitar and singing the song. So most of the album was just me singing it, playing the guitar, piano, and singing, and then I layered some things over the top, but they were vocals. I used my voice a lot to layer in some atmosphere, and I improvised a lot with guitar. I just sat for hours just playing over the songs and coming up with nice little interlude sections to make it just this sonically quite expansive and sort of quite cinematic.
And does it take long for you to write a song, or does it depend on the?
It varies. It's not, you know, sometimes songs could, like, just in an hour or something like that, songs will just come. But then there are songs which they take a lot longer. Kind of, I think especially sort of having when you go from just writing in your bedroom and recording demos to having a record label and a publisher and a manager, there's so many opinions. It's hard to sort of trust your own judgment at times, because everyone's got an opinion. But it's important to listen to people that care. Yeah. But it's also important to stay true to yourself and remember that, you know. And
how do you balance that? The opinions of other ones who also are with the album and your own, because it's your music.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's been a learning curve. I think when you really like something and then someone says they prefer it the other way, it's kind of like, oh, how come? You know, why do I prefer it that way? But music's subjective. Everyone has an opinion. That's the beautiful thing about it. I think you should never try and force your opinion on people, and I think that's the whole. You know, I like songs, I like music, but some people like painting, some people like poetry. Art is something that's subjective, and I think that's what it's there for. You have an opinion. You don't have to like everything.
And the feedback and the input you get from other people, do you put it in the music?
No. No, I think you have to be careful who you let in, and yeah, I do. I mean, sometimes people are like, they might suggest like, oh, you sung that live yesterday and you went up there instead of going down. Like, why don't you try that? And it's like, okay, cool, I'll try that.
When you were a kid, your dad played the guitar as well. How is he living through all this with you becoming a musician?
Oh, he loves it. He loves it. It's very sweet. Both my parents are very supportive, and they always have been. And my dad's actually playing it. He's got a band now. He started a little band in his village, and they do like weddings and stuff. And he sent me a video yesterday of him playing Johnny Be Good with his band. It was quite funny. Just like loads of his demographic's slightly older than mine, but It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, but he's loving it and just he's proud, and I think that's something I wanted. I don't think I'd done that many things that he could be proud of him before this. So it's nice that he's feeling good about what I'm up to.
And does he give you feedback and input on the music you make, or does
yeah, he's one of the first people I send it to. I don't ever sit down and show him. I find it hard to sing in front of. I do still find it hard to sing in front of people. Like when you're on stage, it's different because there's so many people. It's almost like you're quite anonymous up there. But if it's a smaller crowd, I think that's the fear.
Yeah, is it harder to play in front of a smaller crowd than in front of a big one? Can you explain why?
I just think you feel very exposed. When there's less people, you feel so exposed, and when there's more, it's almost like you're not even really there. It's kind of weird, and especially if it's dark and all you see is silhouettes, so you can really get into your own little world. I think when you're in the crowd looking up, you don't realise that the guy singing can't really see you. It's weird because you've got these bright lights shining in your face. It's good.
You prefer then singing in front of a big crowd than?
I do, yeah. I do prefer doing it. I mean, who wouldn't? It's fun, but I do like performing the intimate shows as well. But it's a lot more nerve-wracking for me.
Back to the album. The album title is called Wishes. Also, there's a track on the album called Wishes. When did you wrote the track Wishes?
I wrote that song a long time ago, actually. 2 years ago, 18 months ago. When I first started writing, that was one of the first ones I'd written. And it's kind of about wishing for things in life, and wanting for things in life, and not really doing much to make them happen. And I think sometimes we can wish so hard for things and want things that we end up actually forgetting to do anything about it, and we're just sort of expecting things to come to us. And I know I did that for a long time, and I think it's nice to sort of. I wrote the song as in the way of writing sort of a love song, but it's actually more about just life really, and just making sure that you do the things that you need to do to get where you want to be.
Do you need to be in a specific state of mind to write your lyrics, so that they come to you, or do you need some things around you?
Well, I wrote pretty much the whole album in my room, my bedroom, and I was just saying to someone else. It was weird because then I was working during the day just in a shop in retail, and then American Apparel, and then like in the night time I would come home and I'd want to write. I just did that until the early hours, and I'd have a couple of hours sleep and then go back to work and do it every day. But now it's like my home, my flat in London isn't really somewhere where I feel particularly creative, because I'm out doing this the whole time, and then when I'm home it's like my bed's there and the TV's there, and it's like I feel like I need to find somewhere new now. I feel like I want to find a space somewhere. I recorded my album next to the seaside, so it was just this expanse, endless, you know, and seeing that every day was very inspiring. I wrote 3 songs during the time we were recording the album. I wrote 3 songs, and they're all on there, because I had these 17 songs that I wanted to record, but then when it came to actually doing it, I just started writing these more and more songs. So I think Somewhere by the Sea might be quite nice to go and start demoing some new songs. And
can you imagine then when you're writing in London, you're writing different than when you're writing at the seaside?
I don't think necessarily differently, but I think it's all about the flow and how easy it is to get that flow going. I definitely got like a little formula that I like to keep when I write. Doesn't really matter where I am. I can write on the road. I sit in the van and write on the guitar if no one's sleeping. And but it's easier to write when you've got some tranquility and a bit of time and you're not limited. So I think the songs don't really change from place to place, but I think it's easier to write when you're specifically out somewhere, you know, somewhere detached, somewhere with no distractions. It's much nicer.
Back to the album title again. When did you decide to name the album? Is the album named after the track?
Yeah, the album's named after the track. I think that track really sums up how I was feeling before I had a record deal or whatever, before I was doing an album, before I was able to come and do things like this. It was a lot of dreaming and a lot of hoping and kind of thinking like, how am I going to do this? Like, what do I need to do? So I thought, I think it kind of summed up the journey in a way.
The song Wishes. What are your wishes for the future?
Do you know what? If I can just continue to do this, I'll be happy. I'm having so much fun, and just it's a strange feeling being able to just do this every day and just go out there and play songs for people. It's quite weird. So I mean, if I'm lucky enough to keep on doing that, then I'll be happy.
Thank you for your time.
Cool. Cheers, mate.